how's it going today? So today we're going to be streaming to both Twitch and YouTube. We're going to be setting up RDO, OpenStack, probably the Rocky release, and we'll be using the PackStack all-in-one setup script to get that going. And once we complete that, we're going to take that, I'm going to end the stream, and I'm going to start another stream immediately after that, and we'll go through and set up OpenStack Federation using mod authmelon, and we'll probably be using Okta as the identity provider on that. So I've done a couple of videos similar to this in the past. I didn't ever make it all the way through. This one I'm gonna go from start to finish, so it's gonna be, I imagine, probably an hour to an hour and a half to get RDO set up, and then I figure it'll take about an hour to maybe an hour and a half, maybe less, for the packs, or for the Federation configuration part. So the reason we're going to both YouTube and Twitch today is eventually the videos will delete from Twitch, and I think this is something that needs to stick around for a very long time, so I want to go ahead and broadcast it to YouTube as well, so that the video will be around longer. So I'm assuming that there's like some kind of delay. There's usually quite a bit of buffering. Well, not buffering, but there's usually quite a bit of a delay in this, and since I'm going to restream and then out to the services, I imagine that delay may be a bit longer than normal. So if you are tuning in and watching and you have questions, I'm only going to be able to monitor the chat in Twitch. So be sure to come by Twitch and check out the stream there and ask your questions. My Twitch username is VertDevNinja, so twitch.tv/VertDevNinja, and that's where chat will be happening. And if you have a question, just be patient. I will answer it. I just may not see it right away because I'll be kind of focused on actually doing the work. So again, if you have questions, come by the Twitch chat, ask your question. You know, give me just a minute or two to respond, especially considering the delay that's probably between streams. So all right, without further ado, let's get this going. So I've got a terminal here. We're going to be installing this on a Rackspace cloud server. You can use a virtual machine on your desktop, you know, a physical machine that you have laying around that will support virtualization and OpenStack. I think the minimum requirements for this are like 8 vCPUs, probably 60 gigs of hard drive space, maybe some more stuff. Let me see what my cloud server has here. So I'm using a Rackspace standard instance, 6 vCPUs with 15 gigs of RAM and 620 gigs of hard drive space. So if you happen to get this same server, it runs about $1 an hour. So, you know, about 24 bucks a day or so to run it. Pretty cheap, or you can most certainly use a VM on your own machine if you've got the resources to spare. So on that machine, I've got it configured with CentOS 7, and I've run yum updates, so it's all up to date. And so we're going to go ahead and get connected and get started. And so this command I'm using, I've just got an alias set up, SSHW, for runs an alias to grab the right identity file, and then in my SSH config I have named this rs_RDO since it's running on my Rackspace Cloud account, and we'll be running RDO. So the very first thing we need to do after we update the machine is to install the OpenStack release. So we're going to search and see what they have available. And the name of that package is CentOS-release-OpenStack and then -version. So we could pick from Okata, Pike, Queens, and Rocky. So today I'm going to go with Rocky. I've not set this up in the past, so I'm hoping it will work just fine. The last one I did this with was Pike, and Pike worked just fine. I haven't tested Queens yet, but I'm assuming they will work. So we're going to go ahead and try it out with Rocky. So we're going to yum install CentOS release OpenStack Rocky. All right. And then next, I believe we just need to get PackStack. Yep, OpenStack PackStack. So we will yum install OpenStack PackStack. And this is going to put like Puppet and lots of Ruby stuff for Puppet, and it's going to give us everything we need so that we can get this all installed. Now PackStack supports a couple of different authentication methods out of the box. It supports either a SQL backend for Keystone or LDAP, and since we don't want LDAP in our case, what we want is we want to use Federation. We still want all of our service accounts to be local to Keystone, and so we're going to go with the default SQL backend for our installation. Now, what you can do if you just want to skip ahead is PackStack install or PackStack -- all-in-one. But I'm going to go ahead and run the help just to kind of show you a few of the different options you can pick. So PackStack uses a like an installation, like a config file for the installation. And if you don't define one, it will just give you all the defaults. Now, the defaults are pretty sane, especially if you're just wanting to do like some proof of concept testing. But if you want to use your own SSL cert, for example, instead of using a self-signed cert, then you would want to, before you run the PackStack all-in-one install script, you want to run PackStack gen answer file and define a answer file, and then go inside the answer file and make your changes. So let's do that real quick. We're going to gen answer file and give it a file name. And I'm just going to call this my test.txt. And then we're going to go ahead and open up my test.txt. And I'm going to search down here for the keystone settings. So we can show you what some of those are. So by default, you see we'd be using Keystone API v3. And it uses same defaults for the token format. And like I was saying before, we've got the default here of the identity backend is SQL. And so it only supports LDAP or SQL. And here's where you would configure all of your LDAP stuff ahead of time, so that it would just work after the installation was complete. And let's see, I think it's CA. Yeah. So here's where you can define your Horizon certificate. And if you'll notice, I mean, you're seeing all the passwords that are going to be used here. Now, I'm not going to use this script, or I'm not going to use this file. I'm going to let it just generate its own, so these passwords won't work on this installation. But this is just kind of for the purpose of showing you, what all is in here. And this is a huge file. 1,359 lines, so there's a lot of configuration you can do. We're not going to need any of it. We're just going to take all the defaults. But if there's something that you want to install that it doesn't install by default, or something it does install by default that you don't want, for example, if you don't want Swift, or you don't want Neutron, or whatever, for whatever reason, if you're just needing certain services, you can come and enable and disable those on the before you run your installation. Doesn't install Heat by default, so if you're looking to experiment with Heat and test out Heat templates and stuff, you're definitely going to want to come in here and configure that to install Heat. Here's another one. If you don't want the command line clients installed, like to be able to run OpenStack server list or OpenStack endpoint list, you can disable those in here. If you've got some NTP servers on your network that you want the PackStack to configure for you, or not configure for you, but to have this OpenStack installation use those, you can define those here. You can exclude different services or servers from here, and this is probably the big one. If you're using this to test out some code that you have written and you want to test it on this particular platform, by default the OpenStack services are not going to be running in debug mode. And so if you know that ahead of time that you're going to want those running in debug mode to help you fix some of the code you've been working on, just come in here and set this config debug mode to Y, and then all of the OpenStack services that get installed will be installed and configured to run in debug mode. So you can even use a vCenter backend. I mean, that's crazy. All right, so we're going to exit there. Just delete that my test. Okay. And so we're just going to go ahead and run the PackStack all-in-one. So this should give us a fully functional all-in-one instance once it's complete. And I don't ever trust my internet connection, so we don't have tmux, so we're going to install tmux real quick. Just so the installation doesn't stop if my internet connection cuts out while we're doing this. So get us a tmux session going here, and then we'll run PackStack -- all-in-one. And here we go. And now there's a whole bunch of hurry up and wait. Now, since we're going to be configuring Federation after this is complete, it would be a lot easier to do this if we were using a real SSL cert instead of self-signed. But I think that a majority of people who are just looking to kind of proof of concept this are not going to want to spend the money on getting a valid cert. And so I'm going to just go ahead and show you what has to be done to get this to work with self-signed certs. It is more work. And if you're using an identity provider like ADFS, for example, you're going to have to do more work on your identity provider backend to get a trust set up between your test instance, your test OpenStack instance, and the ADFS server. Because ADFS, you have to import the metadata from your service provider. And so in our case, Keystone or OpenStack, but specifically Keystone is the service provider. And so you've got to import the metadata from Keystone into ADFS. And so if you're using a self-signed cert, that's more work. It's a lot more work. You're either going to have to import that into your ADFS trusted certs, or you can manually import the metadata. So you can download a copy of the file from the service provider that you can later add to, that you can then use to import the file itself into ADFS. So it's more work, but it's still possible to do. I highly recommend using a valid cert. They're so cheap these days, like $10 from most places, like namecheap.com. You can get a valid cert for $10 for a year. And I assure you that $10 is nothing compared to the amount of frustration that you can run into with self-signed certs when it comes to Federation, especially SAML. I think the S in SAML is secure. Let's look that up while we wait. Security. Yeah, security assertion markup language. So it certainly helps when you use a valid certificate. I'm hoping that you can all see my screen just fine and read what's on there. So this part is super boring though, because it's really and truly just hurry up and wait. I'm going to pop open my stream while I wait just to see, so I can see. Oh yeah, that's not too bad at all. Alright. It might even seem like it's stuck because it takes so long. But it's not. You get a little bit of movement down here, you know, and so, like I say, this part can take a good amount of time. Hey, what's going on? Doing a little OpenStack installation today. Boring computer work. Oh my god, that's a long work day. Do you get paid overtime for that? Kinda. Yeah. I like money. Well, it's not super interesting, but there's not a lot of documentation on this, so I thought a video would be very worthwhile. This is basically the part one where we set up the server and get it ready, and that's pretty boring. But the next part is even worse, boring-wise, but there is so little documentation on how to set it up right. And I do this for a living, and so the very first time I had to do it, it was very, very difficult, and I was banging my head on the wall, and I really desperately wished that there would have been something like this for me to watch or read or anything, and so hopefully when this is all done, it'll be able to help more people out there get this part, get the Federation part done. So It just takes so long to get the very first part done, to get the server set up. Cool. Well, stick around. There's going to be I'm going to do part 1 and then hop up and take a little break, and then we'll configure the federation part and make authentication work. So just wish there was a faster way to get this going. And I want to listen to some music while I'm doing this, but I'm afraid that it'll be copyrighted or something, and then they'll have to mute the sound, because they do that to me a lot when I'm playing Tetris. I'll go back and look at the video, and huge sections of it are muted out because I was listening to copyrighted music. So I just have to sit here in silence. Maybe I could find some royalty-free music that's not too bad. I guess if they muted out parts where I'm not talking, it doesn't matter anyway, because I'm not talking. Let's see here. Hopefully that's not too loud. Might not even be able to hear it. There we go. You going to be doing any gaming this weekend? I think I'm going to try and play Witcher for a few hours at least tomorrow. I got a buddy from work that's trying to get me to pick up Diablo 3, and I'm just not feeling that game when I play it. It's alright, but I don't know. I'm definitely going to be playing this weekend because it's supposed to rain, so I'll be stuck in the house. I've got a friend he's really been wanting me to finish it so that we can talk about which choices I made and what happened to me and how, I don't know, he's super into the game, and so he's been wanting to have like a discussion about the story and everything like that. And how much longer is it going to take, man? How long? Oh, you're not playing it? I'm like, dude, I got a job too. I can't just job and kids and can't play it all the time. This office gets so hot when the air conditioner's on. Not on. How long did it take you to get all the way through the Witcher story, like the whole game? I feel like at the pace I'm on, it'll take me like a month or two. But I don't know how big it is, or long, or whatever. A lot of time. Hadn't finished that one yet, huh? Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, by some accounts, is 70 hours long. A speed run is 25, and I've heard some have taken as long as 100 hours to beat it. Wow. Heart of Stone has the best story. I wonder if I have that. I bought like a combo pack or something for it when I bought it. Oh yeah, I do. I have that. Yeah, that's part of the combo pass that I bought. Goodness. This is a huge game. I had no idea. Huh. It says I'm 4% of the way through it on Steam, and I've played it for 21 hours. Oh man, that's bad. That means it's going to take me forever to get all the way through. Yeah, I was going to say I certainly haven't picked up on any, like when you were saying the other day the name of that one person that you were saying was like either Slav or Polish or something. I was like, that's news to me. I have no idea. Is that a Polish developed game or something? Like the devs or something are all Polish? Oh, it sure is. Okay. Alright. Man, I should get these books and read these books. Probably like them better than the game. Man, I should have started a timer to see how long this has been going. I got babbled for about 10 minutes before we got started with the install, so it's probably been running at least 30 minutes. Welcome back. We're still in hurry up and wait mode. So have you read the Witcher books? Yeah? Are they pretty good? As good as the game is, I feel like the books have to be way better. Cool. May have to get one. Check it out. Hell yeah. It's the way it goes, man. Yeah. So I'll mention again, if anybody is watching on YouTube live right now and you want to join this chat, we're over at Twitch. Just twitch.tv/VertDevNinja. I typically use another platform to do this with. It's called OpenStack Ansible, and that is the product that I believe. Oh no! Fail! Ah! Wonderful. Let's see what happened here. Dun, dun, dun. Failed to call refresh. I don't even need gnocchi. Okay, well, let's see if this worked. I don't really care about gnocchi not running. It's not going to be important for what I'm trying to show off here. So let's source the Keystone admin and then do an OpenStack endpoint list. All right, yay. So we have a functional OpenStack, functional enough for what I want to do. Yuck though. Let's see here. Let's take a look and see if Keystone is listening at all on. It's not. Okay, that's annoying. So we're going to need to set Keystone up to listen on HTTPS. Let's see here. I'm going to hop on one of my other servers real quick. Let's see if I had to set up that on them. So let's disconnect. So do an OpenStack endpoint list here. Now this is a server on my internal network. So let's see. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. So we had to set up Keystone to listen on a name instead of an IP. And we had to set it up to listen with on HTTPS. All right, so we'll need to do that same thing. Let's get back on the remote server. Okay. I think what we're going to do here is I wonder if I'm going to do that manually or not. Let me pop in here to the config file. Oh, I hate these bells. Okay, we want 10 Keystone main. Okay. Let's see, did it set us up in SSL at all? No. Alright. So we're going to need to generate our own SSL cert real quick. And there is a nice little quick tutorial on a buddy of mine's website, major.io. Generate self-signed certificate and key in one line. So we're just going to copy and paste from his website. And I'm just renaming the key and the certificate file name. And this is going to give us a new cert, good for a year, which is plenty of time because I'm only going to have this server up for the afternoon. As soon as I'm done setting it up and we see that Federation works, I'm just going to destroy it. So. And we're going to call this thing All right, man. Take care. We're just going to call this thing RDO.mrise.internal. And the reason I'm giving it this name is because I run DNS at my house, and it's mrise.internal, so I'm going to be able to go create a DNS record for that. If you don't have your own DNS, what you can do is just create any name you want here, and then use, you'll just have to use host files in place, because you're going to need your, at the very least, you're going to need the server name, this part right here, to match what you visit in your browser. So, like I say, if you don't have access to a DNS server to be able to do that, you don't need one. You can just simply go in and edit your host file on Windows or on Mac or Linux. You can just enter a manual entry into your host file to get around that. So no big deal. And that's it. So now we have our answers file that got generated for us by the running the all-in-one command. We've got our keystone. These are typically OpenRC, is what you'll see in a lot of other places. So that's the keystone RC for the admin and keystone RC for the demo user. And now we've got our cert file and our key file. And so next we're going to need to set up our Apache instance to have Keystone be on SSL. And let's see, I think we're also going to have to tell the clients all to use Krudskis. How are we going to do that? So we're basically, what the problem we're going to run into now is that we're going to be telling Keystone to run on over HTTPS with a self-signed cert, and the clients are not going to trust the cert, and so like Nova is not going to be very happy. Glance is not going to be very happy. These other services. So we're going to need to either rerun the PackStack script to apply these changes, or we can just we might be able to edit just a couple of the config files by hand real quick, and tell them to use insecure in their config. So let's just take a look at some of those configs real quick before we go too far. So we're going to search the Nova config for verify SSL, and we're going to change that value from true to false. And I'm just going to change it everywhere that it shows up in the file. Oh, actually, I think I was doing that wrong. I think we probably want insecure equals true. Verify false. Let's see, what section are we even in? Okay. Top here. For VMware, wonderful. back with insecure. Okay, so I'm going to go back into that file, and we're going to okay, and then we're going to, oops. All right, so the first command uncommented all the lines that had insecure, commented out, and then the second command we're running is going to change all the insecure false to insecure true. Okay, and that's in nova.conf. And next we want keystone.conf. Cool, not much in that one. Okay. Definitely going to need to change the OpenStack dashboard. And that's going to be in local settings. I forgot the name of the option here. Let's see. All right, this is going to be 1. All right, here we go. Disable SSL certificate checks. That one. OpenStack underscore SSL underscore no underscore verify equals true. So we don't want to verify those, because we're fixing to switch over to using a self-signed cert for Keystone. So that's just going to make it hard, make it not work. So, and again, if you were using an actual valid certificate here, this wouldn't even need to be being done. But because we are all right, I think that's it. But because we're not using that and we're going with self-signed, these steps have to be taken. And this is some of that extra work I was saying you have to do when you switch. So let's see, we need to edit Swift. So edit swift.conf, yes. Maybe you don't. Okay. Okay. if Swift doesn't work, we can take a look at it later. But in all honesty, all we're going to do is get you into Horizon, because that's the main goal. The exercise of getting this all to work with self-signed certs is, something that I'm going to just leave up to you to figure out, because you shouldn't be doing it with self-signed certs. But I understand proof of concept and trying to get something up quickly. So for now, that may be about all we need to do. We'll come back if we have to do some more. So HTTPD, then we're going to need to, so do we have a SSL already installed, or are we going to have to install that? Come on, mod SSL, are you on here or not? No, I'm not seeing it. Alright, so it looks like we're going to need to install mod SSL. Son of a Ganovich, okay. There we go. So yum install -y mod SSL. And I think when we install that, it generates a file for us, maybe, but it might not. Let's see. Go ahead and kill that music. I can't ever remember this one. I think that might be right. We'll see. There we go. Okay. It does not. And I'm just going to steal the config off of one of my other systems, and we can talk about the config for a second. But rather than type it all out, I'm just going to take it, because I am not in the mood to type all that stuff out. Oh, I hate that stupid dangin'. Okay, so we need the 10 keystone main. Oi, so much error bell. Okay. Now we need to have this on the other screen. I can just put it over here. Away. All right. So we need to move the files, key file that we made. The key file, and we need to put that in Etsy PKI TLS private, and we want to name that OpenStack key, OpenStack.key, OpenStack.key. And we're going to need to move the cert to PKI TLS certs and put that in OpenStack.crt. That looks like all we're going to need for now. And then we do need to edit that. Server name. I can't remember, can you have multiple server names, or is it just one and then you can have server aliases? It's the multiple. I think that's how it is. Gotta check the docs. Okay, yeah. So we need this. We can have one and we need it to be this. Then we can have a server alias for it to listen for other things, but we have it set for star 5000 already, so it's going to listen at the IP still. So let's try that. And we're going to restart Apache. And then I probably should have updated the OpenStack endpoint before I did that, because this is probably going to make the thing very angry. I probably won't be able to update it without doing that. I'll probably have to undo this. We'll see. Come on, restart already. There we go. Okay. All right, so we're definitely listening on port 5000 with HTTPS, and Keystone is giving us back the stuff it gives us when we hit the API without any kind of info, right? Just the here's where you're running and here's all your info on how to continue hitting the API. All right, so source the Keystone RC admin file. Oh, but that's going to need to be updated. And then there needs to be forgot what you put in this file to ignore. OpenRC ignore. I feel like it's insecure or something up at the top. Can't ever remember. Let's see. They don't like to tell you how to do this. The problem is once you set these things, you tend to copy and paste, and then they end up in production. So I think that's going to give us what we need. We'll try it. Wah, 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 wah. Let's see. That is apparently not right. Well, I think that we can do this. try that. So I think that works. Yeah, there we go. Now we need to update the identity. OpenStack endpoint update or set. Okay. Okay, the service that we want is identity. Make sure we're spelling that right up there. No, it's lowercase. Okay. And the interface is admin, public, and internal. I've got to get that bell turned off. Services identity, interface is, we'll start with admin. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do a show real quick because I need the ID. Endpoint with the name. Okay, so we need the name. And service name is Keystone. What? Oh, the name is, this is the ID. Ah, what a pain in the ass. Okay. So let's get that again. Identity, we'll start with this one. So OpenStack, endpoint, set, God, we ought to just delete it and create a new one. That's what I was doing on my other servers, was just deleting. We'll go with the set though. Okay, OpenStack endpoint set, service, interface is admin, Oh wait, that's the public. We don't even want to change that. We just want the URL. And we want, oh man. Yeah, I can just use the host file. Okay. We're going to go with HTTPS dot memrise dot E3. Maybe. Oh, jeez. Okay. I already forgot if that's what I put on the server name. I think I did. Yes. Okay. And I'm pretty sure that's what I put on the... Okay, TLS, cert. Oh yeah, you can't read that. Have to decrypt that to read it. Okay. Pretty sure that's what I put. If not, we'll regen. Okay. OpenStack endpoint list. Here's another keystone. That's the internal one. We'll do it next. Oops. Can't copy that way. Okay, but on this one, I'm actually going to use the IP. No, we'll use a name. And I'll set this in the host file. Okay. And last but not least, we need to do the admin. Identity, so we have public, identity admin. And again, like this is only having to be done because we're using self-signed certs. Use a real certificate and avoid this stupid problem altogether. Okay. Now we'll do this and grab their keystone. Whoa. Hold your horses here, thing. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, so annoying as it was, we're ready to move on, but just to kind of recap what we had to do here, and again, this is all because of cell sign certs. We got the RDO PackStack installation done, so we have a functional all-in-one instance running on CentOS 7. We're running OpenStack Rocky. After the installation was completed, we generated a self-signed certificate. We had to install mod SSL. We added a couple of lines of configuration to our Apache file here for Keystone in the Keystone WSGI main.conf. We added SSL engine on, and then gave the path to our certificate files, and then we named our server name, and this is very important. We named our server name the common name that we gave it when we created the cert. So when the cert is handed out, it's going to say aio.mrice.internal. Those are the bits that we have to set right now just to serve Keystone over HTTPS. Okay. Then we went into the Horizon configuration file, which is located at etc OpenStack dashboard, local settings, and let's see, what did we do in here? I forgot. Was it insecure? No. Yes, here we go. We updated the Keystone URL. We're going to go ahead and change that again now that we've got an entry in our host file. Okay, and so this now matches the entry that we have in the OpenStack database for our Keystone URLs. All right. And then the last thing that we did is we updated the endpoints in OpenStack so that Keystone on public, admin, and internal, it all listens at aio.mrice.internal:5000/v3. So once you have those three things, once you have that list of things done, that's it. Your RDO PackStack is up and running. Keystone is running on SSL with a self-signed cert, and enough of the services, the relevant services for the rest of the demo that I'm fixing to go into next, are done. That's all you have to do. And after this, you're ready to start configuring Federation. So what I'm going to do is end this stream. I'm going to take about a 5-minute break, get my water refreshed, go to the bathroom, come back with a new stream, and that stream is going to be strictly about configuring Federation using ModMelon on this platform that we just finished building. So hope you come back and tune in, check it out. So also, if you're viewing this on YouTube live, come over to Twitch for the chat, and that is twitch.tv/VertDevNinja. and join the chat over there. So